attempted?
Sir, section ಯಾವ್ದಾದ್ರಿ ಎರಡನೇದ್ರಿ ಸರ್, ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಬಿದ ಮೂರನೇದ್ರಿ.
ಓಕೆ, ಏನ್ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟಿ ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ?
ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್,
ಎಲ್ಲ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರಿ?
ಹಾರಿ ಸರ್ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್.
ಹ್ಮ್.
ಸರ್ ಅದು ಗೂಗಲ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಇಂದ ಸಬ್ಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದ ಒಂದ್ ಜರ ಐತ್ರಿ ಸರ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಇಮೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ರಿ ಸರ್.
ನಿಮ್ದೊಂದ್ ಮೇಲ್ ಬಂದೈತಿ, ಇವತ್ತು ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡ್ರಿ ಅದು ಅಪ್ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡಕ್. ನೋಡ್ರಿ. ಓಕೆ
ಓಕೆ ಸರ್.
ಅನುಷಾ, ಅನುಷಾ,
Yes, sir.
How was your paper?
Good, sir. Easy.
It was attend ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ.
Huh?
Which questions you have attempted?
Second question and fourth one.
Okay. Any difficulties you faced during the exam?
No, sir.
Nothing.
Sir?
Nothing.
No, sir. Nothing, sir.
Everything was according to your plan?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next. 23. Question number 23. Next. 33. Shweta.
Yes, sir.
ಹೇಳ್ರಮ್ಮ, ಏನೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ರಿ?
Easy ಇತ್ತು ಸರ್ ಪೇಪರ್, ಏನು ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟೀಸ್ ಆಗಲಿಲ್ಲ.
ಯಾವ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಅಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿರಿ?
ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಒನ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಫೋರ್ತ್ ಒನ್.
ಲೋಕಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇತ್ತು, ವಿದೌಟ್ ಲೋಕಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇತ್ತು? ಫೋರ್ತ್ ಒನ್
ಲೋಕಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್.
ಲೋಕಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇತ್ತಾ?
Yes.
ಥರ್ಡ್ ಒನ್ ವಿದೌಟ್ ಲೋಕಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಈಸಿ ಇತ್ತು ಅದು, ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಇರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ?
ಅದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಯ್ತು ಸರ್, ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳಕ್ಕೆ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಫೋರ್ತ್ ಒನ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
ಫೋರ್ತ್ ಒನ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೈಮರ್ನಾಗ ಇತ್ತ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರಿ?
ಇದೆ ಸರ್.
ಗುಡ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ವಿನೋದ್.
sir.
Tell me which questions you have attempted.
First one and third one, sir.
Any difficulties during IA?
No, sir.
Any problems you have faced?
No, sir.
Everything is solved as per your this requirement?
Yes, sir.
Shivani?
Yes, sir.
Which questions you have attempted?
Second and fourth, sir.
Is it a locus problem or without locus problem? Fourth
So
one.
without type.
Fourth one. Hello? Hello? Next, Vinod. Yes, Vinod, speak.
Yes, sir, it was good, sir, paper.
Only good.
Yes, sir.
You'll score 16 out of 16 then.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. What all problems you have attempted?
First one and third one, sir.
Third one. Okay, very good. Any problems you have faced in the exam, during exam or after exam, something?
No, sir, nothing.
Everything is clear. Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Vishwa? 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 Okay, I'm sharing just one problem, a random problem. And I just observed some mistakes which you did in your exam, which I want to rectify. And then we will proceed for the next problems from section of solids. Okay. The main thing what I observed was, if say suppose this is my question, whatever it is, let it be anything. Let's go further. Most of them have drawn the XY, and some of you have not written this VP and HP. And those who have written, some of them have written it with small letters VP and HP. Those who have written, I'm not telling it in, I'm telling it anything with any person wise. I'm telling it with something called as general. In general, what I have observed after seeing your papers. Some of you have written this with small letters VP and HP. It has to be a capital letter, vertical plane and horizontal plane, HP and VP. So please make sure you are drawing it with you are writing it with the capital letters in future, so that the same mistake is not being repeated. Then when I draw something, say suppose you had a pentagon or a hexagon, you are drawing it, and I need the one which is resting towards my left hand side or right hand side, whatever you have studied. The main thing what I observed was, after the drawing, most of them have not done this dimension. Most of them, they have not done this dimension. I don't know what was the problem. This dimension of what pentagon it was, or of what length hexagon it was, most of them have not done it. That is the main thing what we need to do and what we need to solve, because that is the important problem what we face. Because the given things in the problem should be there in the solution. It has to be represented in the solution. If I don't do it, you are going to, out of 16 marks, if it is for 16 marks in the external exam, it will be around I guess 25, means it will be around 15 marks in the external exam. Out of that, if you don't represent those given things, you will be getting around 11 to 12 marks. Even though the solution is correct, everything is correct, you will not be able to get full 15 out of 15. So that is what my worry is. Whatever is given in the problem, it has to be represented. This dimensions, most of them have not done it, and those who have done it, just they have drawn a line here and they have written 25 something. As told in the class before the lockdown, I had already told everyone that I don't want, excuse me, I don't want the dimensions to be drawn however it is. It has to be a straight line drawn on this fashion, then a straight line with the scale. This also should be with the scale, this also should be with the scale, and this line should be with the scale with arrow mark. Then write 25. Some of you have drawn it with free hands, some of you have not drawn it, and some of you without this line, this and this line, just you have drawn a line and written 25. What was the hurry burry in the problem? It was just two problems where one problem would be completed in just 10 minutes and the other problem was completed in 20 minutes. So you had another half an hour. If everything you had practiced it correctly, you had half an hour. Out of 1 hour, the problem we would have completed it in 30-35 minutes. Another 20-25 minutes you had it so that you can just complete it. I don't see that going back and completing the problems. I didn't see those things from you all because I had stressed on these dimensions even before the lockdown. Even in my classes, I have already told the given things, whatever is there, it has to be there and it should not be left. Whatever is there, the pentagonal lamina 25 mm, 25 mm has to be there in this solution. Then I have 20 mm above HP. So this 20 mm has to be shown here. And then I have 45° and 45° has to be shown in the solution. That is very, very important. See the namings and the projection lines. There was no difference between this diagram and the projection lines. Most of you have drawn it like that only. Most of you. There is no difference between the thickness of this line and the thickness of this line. Even if I go with the projection lines are more darker than the whatever the figure is given in the problem. Why is that so? I don't know. Even before the lockdown, I had stressed on this that the lines of this figure which is given has to be darker than the projection lines. And I made sure that these projection lines has to be lighter than what it is given. And even I asked many times to solve those problems and send me back whatever I have taken in the class. But none of you have taken it seriously and none of you have sent it back. If you had sent it back, then I would have replied you by this is the problem, this is the solution, these things you have to take care so that you are not going to repeat that in the exam. But none of you took it seriously, none of you have sent it, none of you have done it correctly. And what should I do sitting at my home? That is not going to work out. I asked you people so many times, please do the solution. Even in the group, I have asked, send those assignments, do the problem, send me back. None of you have taken it seriously. I don't know what is the problem. And out of 41, 42 members, always the class strength online will be around 15 to 24 only. I don't know where the others are, where they are, what they are doing, how they are doing. And when you see the solutions of their paper, it is too worst. Even though you people say that paper is easy and this, that, none of you will cross more than 12 marks. Especially those who have not come to the class, they will never ever cross maximum 5 marks. Even though they have done it correctly, most of them have done the mistakes. All these marks, it will be counted out because the projection lines has marks and these lamina have marks. The thickness of these lamina and these projection lines and the neatness of that problem consider will be having marks. So it's not necessary that whatever I feel I'm going to draw it. There is a difference what I need to draw and how I need to draw. Then this thickness, the xy line thickness has to be different and this line thickness has to be different. The same thing we have done even taking it with the software. The xy line thickness we have taken it different. Then this laminar thickness we have taken it different. Then the projection line thickness we have taken it different. That means whatever why we are changing it in the software, the same thing has to be represented in the paper. Software, forget about the software, whatever you represent in the paper, the same thing you are going to get it in the software. Even though if you do it everything correctly, there you are going to lose marks because the same thing is not represented in your sheet. When that is the case, you have to be very it is easy, I can do it, but these are the points where I'm going to lose marks. And in the end, I'm not going to get the satisfactory marks what I'm going to get. And that is very important for me. Where getting 60 or 70 marks in this subject is not a difficult task. But I want everyone to get more than 90-95 marks. And out of my, this is my fifth batch which I'm going to take for CAD, that is EGDL. But I am seeing the worst part of my EGDL classes because we had a regular checkup, we had a classes, and I always kept a track on the problems what we did, and I always kept a track on the problems what we did in the labs and the sketchbook. But here, since because of the lockdown, we are I'm not able to get those track, and even you people are not that serious. If you people are serious, then it will be very helpful for me to get me back on track with the subject, or else it will be very difficult for you all at the end. Because last time 92 was the minimum marks who has got for the EGDL subject in my class. I don't know about the other divisions, I'm talking about only my division. 92 was the least marks who has scored out of 100. So that was the effort where those people took it for themselves and they got the result for that. But here we are not getting that result because we are not serious either way. Let it be me or let it be you people. So please make sure you people are serious about the subject, because this is a subject where I cannot read overnight and go and write it and come back. This is a subject where I need to practice for the whole semester. Overnight, if I do it and go and do it, I'm going to get around 40 to 50 marks. That's it. If your people are happy with 50 marks, I don't mind. But I am not happy with 50 marks for you people, because this is the subject where in the whole engineering I can score 100 out of 100. And in the previous semester, which was CS division, C division, which I have taught, two of them have got 100 marks, and 18 of them have got 99 marks, and 16 of them have got 98 marks. That means see the result out of 58 students, almost 40 students have scored more than 98, 98, 99 and 100. So that was the result which they have scored and which they have done, but the effort behind that was very very much. I have never seen such type of students in my career, because they had very they have put very uh, much efforts. So I'm not asking you to do that level of efforts, but at least 50% of that, so that you score at least above 85. It is very very essential, where we need to score marks in this kind of subjects, because we don't know what kind of problems we get in physics, nor in maths, nor in elements of civil engineering, nor in electrical engineering. If I do problems correctly, I'll be scoring more marks in those kind of subjects. But this is the subject where I know the question paper before I going to the exam, because there are 50 questions. Out of those 50 questions itself, I'll be getting one question where I need to do it. So I know the solutions of all the 50 answers questions. That means I can solve anything, whatever is essential and whatever I can do it. So that is very essential for me to complete this engineering graphics, and I want your efforts during these another 2 weeks of lockdown which has been extended. I want you all to complete your assignment before 5th May. Assignment is completing the whole thing starting from the first module till planes. The plane problems, whatever I have taken and whatever I have given in the classroom, and the homework problems, everything should be completed. Everything, let it be any sheet, whatever it is, completed in the sense not only the diagram, with your projection lines, with the dimensions, and with the namings, with the thickness of the xy line, with the thickness of this views, front view and top view. Then further going, it is I have a 20 above HP the slide. Then I'm going to draw it. It is in the other way, the whatever we are drawing regularly, it is there in the book. Then these projection lines, then joining it, naming it, joining it, then this 45-degree line, this dimension, this rectangle what I'm drawing has to be a construction rectangle. That thickness should not match with this pentagon. It has to be very uh, thin, and it has to be uh, drawing which I need to use for the construction only of this pentagon. Then the projection of these to the above, and then the closing of this, drawing the pentagon here. Again, I see most of you have done a mistake, where I see most of you drawing this line, not naming it, drawing this angle, not naming it, then projecting it upwards, and then projecting it sideways. These projection lines are more thicker than whatever diagram I get here. Then I get a rectangle here. You have drawn a rectangle. I do appreciate that rectangle, but that rectangle thickness is more than the pentagon or hexagon which you have drawn here. That means it is the complete failure of the diagram what we solve it, and it has to look like this. Pentagon should be visible at first instant, but you go back, see your papers here in this diagram, that is in the fifth diagram, most of you have drawn a rectangle, and rectangle is more visible than your pentagon or hexagon which I have got. And that is the biggest failure of your diagram, because whenever at the first instant, no one has, from the externals, no one will be taking with that pentagon method. And when anyone sees at the first instant, what happens is, why you have drawn that rectangle with more thickness of than the given figure. That will be the first question to them. So, and why is it, and what is it, why you have drawn it? So if it is a construction line and if it is that thing, that is very good, and it has to be a less thickness. And some of you, I don't know what was the problem, some of you have drawn these projection lines dotted line. Dotted line is used only for hidden lines. These projection lines, some of you have drawn it with dotted. I cannot draw dotted lines for projection line. Projection line has to be a continuous line like this, but its thickness should vary from this line to this line. That's it. It's not necessary it has to be a dotted. I cannot draw a projection line dotted. I have seen some papers, they have drawn it with a dotted line here. I have seen one paper, he has drawn these as continuous lines from here to here, and from these sideways. But from here, he has taken these dotted and these lines as dotted. And some papers, they have taken some lines, they have taken it as a continuous line, some lines they have taken it as a dotted line. Please make sure you don't repeat such kind of mistakes further. Okay, so I wanted to clear all these things, what mistakes you have done in your exam. So go back, check your papers, and just put those remarks in your head so that the same remarks will not be repeated in the further exams. Okay, anything you need to ask? We are running out of time. I am having another 2 minutes left. If you have anything